Live from the Stream Center in Tampa, Florida, the home of News Channel 8, your official Bucs station. This is Bucs Bonus on WFLA Now, powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY.
Why didn't Tampa Bay make any moves at the trade deadline? And can the Bucs bounce back after 3 straight losses? And who should Todd Bowles and his squad watch out for on the Houston Texans? We have all that and more right here, right now on Bucs Bonus. I'm your host, Aileen Hnatiuk, alongside my teammates, your Bucs Insiders, Dan Lucas and Karen Loftus.
We're here.
Yay! I like this one, too.
Hey, anyone see the college football playoff rankings last night?
Oh, boy.
Tell us more, Dan.
Well, in case you didn't see them. But this is
There
about
it is right
this
there.
is about the Bucs.
This is about the Bucs, not
Yes.
Florida State. Sorry,
Yes.
UF fans. Dan went to Florida State.
Give me a week of fun, will you?
You can have it. You're allowed to. Just what? Oh wait, yeah. That's how I feel about Thursday night's game against the Bills. The whole time you think they're out of it, and then the fourth quarter happens, seconds left in the game, and Chris Godwin's looking the other way and doesn't catch the Hail Mary. What was going through y'all's minds watching that game?
Oh, that was one of the wackier plays. Had that been a completed pass, I mean, it's the play of the year in the NFL for sure. But a lot of things happened in that play, and I think when it was over, the immediate reaction was there should have been a penalty called, and when you go back and look at it, okay, but by the rule, but I believe there were many issues going on in that play. There was push-offs, there was pulls, there was tackles. I just don't see this being that big of a deal. They just didn't convert it, and the right team won after the way the entire game transpired. But what an effort to not give up after being 2 scores down by the Bucs, who went down at the end of the second quarter, and then the Bills get the ball to begin the third quarter, and it's a 14-point game just like that. So the Bucs were up against a lot, and with key injuries as well in that game that I think impacted everything on offense and defense, 2 big ones.
Yeah, I think one of the things that stood out to me from the game is that they were in it. And that one and the Falcons game, if we're lumping those together, it's like they're right there. You take away the penalties. I mean, you had 9 penalties and you had 11 penalties in the next game. Things like that are not going to help you win the game, especially when you look at those little mental errors and little mistakes. They add up.
I think that the Trey Palmer penalty that came on the big run by Rachaad White, that upset Todd Bowles the most. And he spoke about that one and also the Cody Mauch hold that negated the big 42-yard Mike Evans catch. But it was the run that just ate into the heart of the Bucs because what do we talk about every week? What are they trying to get going? And Rachaad White had an impact in this game, catching passes and running 2 games in a row now of total yards that were very impressive. And he finally breaks one. And it's just a gut punch that this team just cannot withstand right now.
Yeah. I will say one thing. So in looking at that last touchdown drive for the Bucs, great drive. If you put together a 7-minute and 21-second drive, 17 plays, 92 yards in the first quarter, you're good.
Not the fourth.
Right. And it's like, that's such a good drive, but it's like situationally, it's like that needs to be quicker. That needs to be a 2-minute drive. That needs to be. So it's like they were able to score, but it's like, okay, just flip that. Like if that was in the first quarter, it's a whole different situation.
Yeah, the way the NFL seems to go, and it always comes down to a possession or a team throwing into the end zone to win or lose. That's how the game wound up. So I credit the Bucs again for putting themselves in a position to at least make that play. But if the Bills don't score to start the third quarter, let's say it's 17-10, the entire second half is possibly a little bit different when it comes to possessions and this and that and the other. But but the Bucs in the end didn't deserve to win because of the things that transpired that led to that loss.
Right, and I'm just going to read it out too. 11 penalties. 74 yards. I mean, it's just unacceptable. And my theory with all of this, it could be many reasons, right, as to why they're making these penalties. But I think when you hyper fixate and hyper focus on one thing, don't make penalties, don't have penalties, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. What are you going to do? You're going to have, don't false start, don't go, you know what I mean? If it's in the back of your head. So I think they just really have to go back to clean slate, clean mind, have this mentality of just honestly forget about it. Honestly, forget the penalties. Don't read the articles. Don't go online. Don't get on social media, and just really try and go back to just, you know what I mean?
I'll tell you this. On Monday, Todd Bowles said we're gonna spend time at practice this week on basics and fundamentals, and he said this is downfield blocking, i.e. Trey Palmer's play, pass protection, Cody Mauch's play, and discipline. That was going to be one of the focus points this week, because I think he's gotten to the point where enough is enough. You're 3-4 for stupid reasons, and people can trash the Bucs nationally if they want to. I don't think the Bucs are a bad team.
They're not,
and should be in first place in this division. They have done it to themselves. We've heard Todd Bowles say that, and so who's going to get them out of it? They are. So we'll see how this practice discipline goes this week.
Yeah. I asked for Rashad White today, because I was like, you're out of practice and you see people's energy or how they are in the locker room. And I said, you guys seem pretty upbeat, optimistic. And I said, how would you characterize it? And he said, yeah. He said, we're looking at the film and we're seeing these things that we can fix. He said, it's not like we're going out there and just getting beat and we're all looking at each other like, man, we're not so good. It's like, I think there's a little bit of encouragement there to know that it is very fixable things.
Yeah.
You still have a big core of this team that won a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And so you can take people out of the equation, Tom Brady and other players who certainly contributed to that Super Bowl year. And you look around and there's guys who have gone through adversity. They've experienced winning, and they've experienced how to get out of a hole when you're doing silly things to cost you in games. So the core of the team has been through it. This is not a young group that's going to start to hang their heads. They can't. There's too many games to play. What do they play? They have 10 games still.
Yeah.
10.
I think they'll figure it out, but I want to know how Buckified Bert feels about this. And then, of course, Casey Sloan's Stat Chat of the week.
Hello, Aileen. This is Buckified Bert. I'm so happy to be back. Give me my take from last week. I really thought that the Bucs should have beat Buffalo Bills. That Hail Mary pass that just miraculously didn't get caught. I mean, I think it was miraculous. And I know you can expound on it a little better, Aileen or Dan or Karen, because you guys are more from the, sideline and access to the players. I'm in the stands. But that's what I'm saying. If we catch that pass, we win the game. Everything was all into that pass. Now I'm going on to this game against the Houston Texans. Last week I fired everybody who I had praying for the Buccaneers. I fired my prayer warriors. I went to church and got me some new prayer warriors. So I'm very confident that's going to help me. The last time I did that, the Bucs went all the way and won the Super Bowl. Did that 2021. And that's when Tom Brady was there. But I had to fire everybody in the prayer warriors. And so I just got new prayer warriors going in this game against the Houston Texans. I guarantee you, this week, we beating the Houston Texans and getting this ship right. And for the stats of the week, Casey Sloan, she'll take care of the stats, and then she can tell you some good stuff about the stats this week. And she's been dropping the mic every week with the stats of the week. It's Casey Sloan. All right, this is Buckified Bert, and I'm out.
Hey guys, so it appears the Bucs are starting to figure out their run game a little bit despite their loss against the Bills. Second-year running back Rashad White led the team offensively, and although he didn't score any touchdowns, he was still a key factor in their scoring. White hauled in 7 receptions for a career-high 70 yards receiving while adding 39 yards rushing on 9 carries. His 109 yards from scrimmage matched his career high. He now has 70 and 65 receiving yards in the past 2 contests, marking the first time he has recorded 65 or more receiving yards in consecutive games. Rashad's performance against the Bills makes him Casey's Stat Chat Player of the Week. That's all I have for you guys. See you next week.
Oh, man, good stuff there. And then, of course, Casey Sloan's article, you can find it online at WFLA.com. Tampa Bay Bucs GM comments on potential Mike Evans trade, as we mentioned earlier. But, man, oh, man, the holy water from Buckified Bird. I love it. I feel the positivity. I think the Lord is with us this weekend.
Well, I agree with Casey's. Assessment because
I do too.
For 2 games now, and she mentioned the previous game from his reception standpoint. And I had asked Todd Bowles Monday, you guys seem to be onto something here. Is this an attempt to get back to a traditional running game, forcing teams to respect Rachaad White as a check down receiver target? And he said, yeah, but it's also an attempt to get teams to single up on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin again, and maybe open it up for them a little bit, which will in turn help the run game. Me personally, I don't care how they move the ball down the field. If you have to check down to Rachaad White 4 times on a drive, do it.
Make it work.
It has looked very impressive the past 2 games, and he is known as a technically sound pass catcher in the offense, and should be utilized more. I know it's always the last resort when you go through the progressions, but I think Rachaad White's a weapon, and I think it's only going to help him as a runner and the run game overall together if teams have to respect that.
I actually asked Rachaad about that also today.
Give us all the insight.
Enough of what I had to say about it. What did Rachaad say?
I think that was great. So I said, what's that like for you just to know you can help your team in different ways, being able to, run the ball, catch the ball. He said, I'm just trying to help the team in any way I can. He, super humble about it, of course. And was like, anything that I can do, I'm just trying to go out there and help us get a win.
Yeah. I love it. He wants to get on the field.
Yeah.
He wants to get on the field.
Any way they can help. I mean, these guys are athletes. It's, they'll you ask him to go play center. I mean, he probably would be like, I don't know about that, but sure. Whatever it takes.
Another Rachaad White nugget. 1 rushing touchdown. Mm-hmm. That's the only one the Bucs have.
Oh.
It's amazing.
10 other touchdowns are receiving touchdowns.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
1 rushing touchdown.
At the expense of history in the making, mind you, Mike Evans' wonderful run of touchdown catches that he's on.
Yeah, what's he? He got like 6.
Yeah, he's up there. Career-wise, 86 now.
Yeah.
17th overall.
Wait, I'm sorry. He has 5. Evans has 5.
And he's clipping off Hall of Famers on the list, up the list. For me, I love it. I just love when you can see history and you can gravitate to it. And for the Bucs, we are witnessing it. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, how about this game, guys? I mean, what are we looking at? CJ Stroud, he's thrown 1 interception this entire season, and it came in game 6. Pretty impressive. What do you think the Bucs are preparing for this week? Well,
they're kind of mirror images of each other. I mean, their defenses are almost identical when it comes to statistics. They're both run defenses. They don't give up a lot of points. Mm-hmm. Both offenses struggle scoring points. So this could be a drag out field goal fest like it was for Houston and Carolina the other day. So I think the Bucs just have to be prepared to hopefully have Vita Vea healthy, ready to go. That should help Kalijah Kancey be a little bit more effective and go after the quarterback, get a short field and just get in the end zone somehow.
Mayfield was saying today in regards to what the Texans bring defensively. Mm-hmm. I asked him what the biggest challenge is, and he said their secondary is really, really good. They're tough. He said, but also their pass rush. He said they may not be getting the quarterback sack numbers that they want, but they are very effective in being disruptive. So that's something is just being aware, not letting him get pressure on Baker.
That's coming from a guy who's had some critical tipped passes. Mm-hmm. He knows what he's talking about.
He spoke about that today too, which I thought was super interesting, just how his height plays a factor in that, and the right angles and just the window of time. And it's if you don't have time at the angle that you are, all of that. It was actually a really, I'm not doing it justice, his answer, but it was really good.
Years ago, and Bucs fans don't cringe when I say this name, Greg Schiano used to say that as a pass rusher, if you can't get to the quarterback, obviously, the first rule is to get your hand up. If you can tip the ball, great. If you cannot tip the ball, make sure your hand is up at all times, because if you alter the quarterback's delivery, and he threw out these minuscule angle percentages, whatever the term was, if you can hurt his angle by 1% or 2%, By the time the ball arrives to its destination, it could be 8 feet off course.
Yeah.
And that's what the Texans are teaching their guys, and the Bucs do as well, but the Texans are very good at it. And Baker's been a victim of tipped passes. But a Bills player got a hand up on one the other night. So he's had had his tips. And what was the Lions game as the signature tipped pass? It became the interception. But yeah, for Baker to acknowledge that, I think it
was really interesting, listen to that entire soundbite, and he explains it really well.
Yeah. Well, how about who is going to be on the field this week? Speaking of Baker, he was a full go today. We got our injury report. He was suffering a knee deal last week. Who else? Matt Feiler.
Yep. Left guard. Matt Feiler. Yeah, left guard.
Feiler, rather, excuse me, did not practice today. Logan Hall did not practice. A lot of other limited, but Vita Vea, he was a full go. That's one we were also
critical
looking at, very critical. So he needs to play come Sunday, and so does Tristan Wirfs. He was limited. He did not practice on Monday, but that was also a bonus practice that day.
Yeah,
so
no injury
take
report
out
on
the
Monday.
grain of salt, right?
I think the left side of the offensive line took a beating against the Bills because of the Wirfs injury. He was basically half of Tristan. And then you had Aaron Stinney, who always does a decent job. But with Wirfs, the combination was worst case scenario. And just given those circumstances, that's where the pressure came from against Baker. I think that changes this week. Stinney's, will be better off. And if Feiler can't go, and Tristan Wirfs seems to be doing okay, that cannot feel good, though. Deep bruise in your quad.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't.
He could barely move last Thursday, I'll tell you that.
I can just barely walk up the stairs, let alone
the healthy quad.
Allegedly get hit by a car every single weekend. The thing is with this Bucs team, and we've been saying it all season long because this is just the story of the NFC South. They're still in it. Dan, you mentioned that earlier. I'll pull up the standings here. They should win this weekend, right? But this is the NFL, and it's been pretty crazy over the last few weeks. You guys take a look at this standings NFL, here. What goes through your mind?
Yeah, well, I'm just running through the games last week. The Broncos over the Chiefs. Just Carolina getting its first win against Houston, who had won 3 out of 4 going into that game. It was the battle of the top 2 draft picks. And, to me, that I started to get confidence in this game watching that Carolina-Houston game. I hadn't seen really any of Houston at all. And I'm telling you, it just did not inspire me. Because Carolina is not that good. I'm sorry. And the Bucs have got to figure out how to win this game. What's the point spread? You told it was 2.5?
It's 2.5. Yeah.
The Bucs have not lost. They lost 3 in a row last season. It was funny. It was actually the same weeks in the season.
Oh, wow. Was it? Fun fact. Thank you.
6, 7, 8. So maybe it was off by 1. I think it was 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Haven't had a 4-game losing streak since 2019.
Wow.
So, and that was actually the last time they played the Texans.
For a team that was picked, the over-under in Vegas at the beginning of the year was 6.5. I think it's up to 7.5 now. So you look, getting off to the start that they did put them ahead of schedule. And when you look, you can sit there on your own and go win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. I see 4 wins at least there, at least. And that gets them to 7. And they probably need 1 more to probably win the division. It won't get you into the playoffs if you don't win the division, but 8 might do it.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of really tough games there. That Jaguars game on Christmas Eve here, by the way, is going to be terrific.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
The Jags are unbelievable. And the game out at San Francisco.
That'll be a good one, too.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. The game at Green Bay, I think, is very winnable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they got to get these wins going.
You gotta win the ones you're supposed to, but it's sports. Things don't always turn out the way we think or hope they might. But I'm feeling good vibes and good energy come Sunday. As always, we have to manifest this, guys. Manifest it. Good energy, positive. We're here every single Wednesday. You can check us out on Spotify, YouTube if you want to watch us, Apple Music. We're everywhere every single Wednesday, and we'll see you guys next week.